Hello and welcome to 5-Minute Math. Today we are looking at the third grade concept of weight and capacity. This is standard 3.7D in the great state of Texas, and we are using item number 15 off the 2021 released STAAR test. If you have not done so already, please go ahead and take a moment to pause the video, work this problem out on your own, unpause it, and then we will look at our answers together. So after a soccer game, Isaac is drinking a bottle of water. And which unit of measurement can be used to measure the volume? So that's going to be our key word there, the volume of the water in the bottle. So if we don't know what volume is, let's say we are not sure what that term volume means, because that term is going to give us a really big clue as to what our answer is. Let's just pretend like we don't know it, and let's look at what our units of measurement are. Now, we don't need to know the exact unit of measurement. All we're trying to figure out is which unit are we going to use. That's our key for this particular standard. 3.7D is trying to figure out which unit of measurement is used for weight or capacity. So, let's take a look at our first option here. Fluid ounces. Now, if we didn't know anything else, that term fluid is going to be a very big clue that this is probably our answer, because water is a fluid. So fluid ounces. Why do we have to say fluid ounces? Well, fluid ounces, and I'll abbreviate that right here, FLOZ, right? So that measures capacity. And another word for capacity is volume. They mean the same thing. And so that's going to be our biggest clue that that's our answer, is because capacity or volume, fluid ounces. It's how much water or liquid is in an object, because remember, liquids change shape based on the size of the container, so we can't measure them in inches or anything like that. So the reason we have to say fluid ounces is because if we just had ounces, there is a dry ounces, or sometimes just usually called ounces, abbreviated OZ, right? And so that is going to be weight. So there's a difference there. Fluid ounces measure capacity or volume, ounces measure weight. So I'm thinking it's probably going to be this one right here. Let's see what grams. So grams are just abbreviated G, right? And grams measure mass. Now, mass is like weight, but it's not weight. Weight is the active gravity on an object, whereas mass is the amount of stuff inside something. And mass stays the same on Earth and in space, whereas weight changes if you're on Earth or if you're on the moon or in space. So the amount of mass, and we're not really trying, we could measure the mass of the water bottle, but not the volume of the water in the bottle. So it's not going to be this one. Now, the next one is going to be inches, and we're pretty good with inches. So inches measures length, right? And that's one of the first things that we learn to measure in kindergarten is length, and sometimes we'll start with snap cubes, and we'll start with paper clips, then we'll get into rulers. But we're measuring the length, but we can't measure the length of water in a bottle because it all depends on the size of the actual container itself. Could be tall and skinny, could be short and squat. So that is not really going to help us. Now this last one is interesting because it's square centimeters. We can write that two different ways. We can abbreviate it square cm, or we can actually do it like this. With that little 2 up there, that means square. Now what does this measure right here? This actually measures area. So remember, in third grade when we are looking at rectangles like this, right? And we wonder what is the area, which is the space inside. And what we do is we pretend that there are little squares inside, and we count the little squares. That's what we're talking about. That's why we have the square centimeter, because we pretend like we're counting the squares inside. So that is obviously not what we are looking for. So remember, volume means same as capacity. Our clue here is fluid. Water is a fluid or a liquid, so our answer is A.